coming your way. And we have a new sponsor we're going to unveil in a few minutes. But first, as always, our first topic of the day is brought to us by FanDuel. It is undisputed that FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook, and right now they have a little something different for everyone out there. Starting today through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to download America's #1 sportsbook. Jay, we are just a few days away from kickoff.
We are.
Finally.
We're actually just one day away, right?
Friday NFL kickoff,
Yeah, from the season.
NFL kickoff, yeah.
From the NFL season.
Specifically for the Browns. We are so close to finally seeing Deshaun Watson play real meaningful football since last November. And on the Maggie and Pierloff show yesterday, Deshaun Watson's quarterback, Deshaun Watson's quarterback coach, Quincy Avery, was on and talked about Deshaun's rehab. And as Steve's pulling it up, Steve knew this was here, Steve. Slacking on me.
Steve, you got one
we're
job,
play
man.
the stop from Quincy Avery whenever we get a chance. Here's Quincy Avery talking about Deshaun Watson's offseason as he gets ready to take on the Cowboys in Week 1.
All right.
I think that this has been his best offseason in a really long time in terms of preparation for the game, being able to throw, putting himself in position where he was able to do all the things throwing-wise that he needs to do to be successful in an NFL game, and he's in a good spot. I mean, we've tested, so it's not, hey, is it as good, right? He throws the ball as hard with more velocity. Like, his miles per hour are higher now than they were prior to the injury, so those things are not like a concern.
Jay, do you have any concerns headed into Sunday's matchup against the Cowboys?
Of course. Anybody that's been paying attention has concerns because we don't know what we have. And I don't know that I would have said that. Why are you heaping more pressure on a guy that's
great point,
just really succumbed to the pressure, if you think about it? Well, we talked about how difficult it was going to be for Deshaun Watson to overcome the off-the-field stuff. And we watched a guy who was a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback come to Cleveland and really kind of succumb to that pressure. And so I was hoping that this offseason, really I was hoping since back to the surgery, that the entire stretch from then to today would be pulling the relief valve on the pressure cooker that has been around Deshaun Watson. And we kind of have. He's been under the radar, not a lot of national chatter about him at all, which I think is good. But to have your guy come out and say, best offseason in a very long time, throwing the ball harder, that heaps expectations upon what we already had. So, yes, I have concerns, and we can circle back around, but I'm curious to see if what that comment did to your guys' thoughts on what we're going to expect from Deshaun Watson.
I mean, I thought the exact same thing you just said, is that we already, put a lot of expectations on him, a lot of pressure on him as fans.
With the contract,
as media,
too.
With the contract, for sure. You make that much money, people expect you to play excellent football, to be like a top 5 type of quarterback, and he hasn't been. Right. I mean, he's had a couple of good quarters where he's made some plays, but not nearly enough. To this point, it's been an absolute disaster. Anybody who says otherwise is fooling themselves. But this year, I feel like we've lowered the expectations, probably rightfully so, to a point where...
Up until this.
Correct. And now, all of a sudden, we feel like, his quarterback coach says he's 1,000% healthy. He's throwing the ball harder than prior to the injury. It's like, okay, well, now we expect the Super Bowl.
I do.
Why not? When you sign the guy for $245 million, you sign him to win a Super Bowl. And so... to this point, hasn't done any of that. But if he's better than when we signed him, or when he was healthy, okay, why not have those expectations?
Well, I know that we've kind of dubbed this season the No Excuses Tour, right? And I'm with you on that. There are no excuses. I think the one thing that would give pause to some fans who are ready to say, this guy's done, he'll never be what we thought, is the fact that injury was still lingering. But to me... and not that was going to be an excuse, because, Bull, I'm with you. Yeah. No excuses tour. If 2 weeks in he has to sit for a sore shoulder, I don't want to hear it. But now, based on the fact that his own guy is saying he's throwing the ball harder, the injury is absolutely a non-factor, the shadow of a possible excuse has just been set on fire, and you can take that off the table. I don't want to hear about an injury. I don't want to hear about a sore shoulder. That's gone.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to find out everything we need to know this year about Deshaun Watson because, yeah, I mean, I understand he's going to still make money next year or so. Even if he has a bad year, he's probably still going to be the starting quarterback next year. But
it would have to be a disaster for him not to be.
Right. But when the Browns traded for Deshaun Watson, I think most of us were super excited. Maybe you not quite as much, and there was a segment of the fan base for between the off-the-field stuff and because of a fondness for Baker Mayfield, there was a percentage of the fan base that wasn't as excited.
Right.
But I know that myself, and I believe the majority of the fan base initially was super pumped.
Would you say
about
this,
this
Bull?
move.
I would say that with maybe the exception of OBJ,
Yeah.
this was the most celebrated acquisition in the history of the Cleveland Browns. Probably Bernie Kosar going into the supplemental draft was probably bigger.
No doubt. Certainly in the modern history.
In the modern era,
Since I've been here.
OBJ was big.
That
People
was big.
were running around in the streets after OBJ.
Yeah, especially because we thought even I and people who were down on Baker were a little higher on him then than we were now. But
I mean, listen, we were excited for Johnny Manziel too, but it was different with those guys because they never played in the league.
They had no track
Deshaun
record of
Watson
success in
was
the NFL.
proven.
Yeah. Yes.
Everything we saw for Deshaun Watson before Cleveland was great. I understand the record his last year there was bad, but everybody was like, okay, well, it wasn't his fault. They were bad. The team sucked around him, and look at these numbers he put up.
Right.
And the 2 years before that, he went to the playoffs. He got up on Patrick Mahomes that one year in the postseason. And great. Deshaun, I just find it impossible to believe that all of that talent has gone away. It's got to still be there. And I feel like this is the last chance for him to find it. Because if he goes 4 years without a good season, I can no longer have any faith that it's coming back. This is the last chance. I got to believe it's still there. And, I've been kind of lukewarm on Deshaun Watson all offseason. But if his coach is saying he's healthy, and I remember that feeling I had when the Browns traded from the excitement I had that the Browns had finally found a franchise quarterback. Yeah. And I'm actually a little more optimistic about Deshaun Watson than I've been for most of the season. I'm still not going to say I'm 100% convinced. How could you be? He hasn't played well enough. He's coming off an injury. He's barely played. But the talent, he's still young enough. The talent is there. He's got to get it done. And, yeah, there are zero excuses. He's got the talent around him. He's got everything he needs to have success.
All right, G-Bush, you're up.
Man, that's exactly what he was supposed to be saying. That's what I'm talking about, Quincy. You got your man out here. That's exactly what you're supposed to be saying. Stand on that. Give me that 110%. Like, look, we talk about he want him to have confidence. I want my quarterback having confidence. I want him to be like, you know what? Yeah, they ain't seen me. I want you to sleep on it. I want you to see what I'm doing over here. But the thing is, Quincy didn't see him practice. He didn't see him play. He's with him every single day. And one of the things that we talked about so many times is getting the quarterback to be back confident to who he is. And part of being confident in who you are is vocalizing that. That's why Jameis Winston is here for a certain.
Can you speak performance into existence, though?
Yeah. That has to be in.
Damn, I've tried that. It doesn't work.
But you
it
got
doesn't for me.
But you got to be. Well, I mean, no disrespect. Deshaun Watson's a world class athlete. I mean, he's done it.
Was he speaking that into his? Remember, his talk before last season was very confident.
Like we talk about it. We can go back and we can relitigate and rehash. We can go back and say, yeah, he's played 11 games, whole games. He sat out a year. People say that's his problem. He came back. He couldn't be in because he got suspended. Couldn't be in the offseason. Couldn't practice. He came off the street and threw footballs when he was there, not last year, but the year before. He played 6 games this year. That's all been litigated. Here's the point. We here right now. It's game time. It's game week. And for Deshaun Watson, he wouldn't have made that statement if he didn't think Deshaun Watson was 1,000% ready to go. Kevin Stefanski would have not played him if Kevin Stefanski didn't think he was 1,000% ready to go. And they keep restructuring this deal. So the front office got the backing of Deshaun Watson. So everybody is backing it, right? For us, I'm not going to tell the fans to believe in something they ain't seen yet. That's part of the game. Like, yeah, you got to go out and prove it. It don't matter what Quincy say. He's still got to come out and throw the football. But
what you think it added pressure to him? Unnecessary pressure?
No, he better like the pressure. He better embrace it.
Hasn't so far.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, at this point, the pressure's gotten in his head, it appears.
I don't know one quarterback. If you think that he's going to be a top-notch quarterback or a Pro Bowler or a quarterback that gets it done to hold that trophy, you got to be able to deal with the pressure. So I'm not trying to take none off of them. If you're going to be Manning or Brady or Roethlisberger or one of the greats or even win with Patrick Mahomes, you can't be half-stepping with Patrick Mahomes in your division and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. Man, you better come out here
Okay,
and
so
throw.
let's do this. Based on what we've heard, we haven't seen him. Let's give what I expect Deshaun Watson to do on Sunday at Huntington Bank Field. That's going to take some time. And somebody, I don't know if all you guys got it. I saw somebody sent a suggestion that we need a nickname, the hunting ground, because our defense hunts opponents.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
let's just let that
We
happen.
can call it whatever we want.
Yeah.
They're not paying us.
No, yeah. So
I called it Cleveland Brown Stadium when it was First Energy Stadium.
That's right.
That's exactly right. So here's what we have to figure out.
Yeah.
What's he going to do on Sunday? What are your expectations? And here's my expectation.
Yeah.
Based on the Browns were so confident they didn't need to put him out there in the preseason. He doesn't need to play. He's fine. He's 100% ready to go on all 8 cylinders on the first snap.
I don't think that. I think it was caution.
If you weren't sure, you better get his ass out there and let's see. Let's see it.
I think they was cautious about the shoulder.
We
They
can
didn't want
split
him to get
hairs.
injured.
The fact is, if they felt that he had to go out there to play, he would have been out there. Cautious or not, it's a
Dak
it's a
didn't
contact
play
sport.
either in the preseason.
I understand.
Another one of
I
the few
understand.
quarterbacks. Most of the quarterbacks played at least a little bit.
Yeah, Dak
here's
also
what I would
played
say.
well last year.
Yeah, that's
Based
true.
on my information, and then
Yeah.
we'll all give our lines. Browns didn't play him in the preseason.
Yeah.
He seems ready to go, says he feels great. He's ready to have a great season. Quincy says 100%, arm is stronger than ever, injury's not an issue. My expectations for him on Sunday, I need 275 passing yards. I need 2 touchdowns. I need no interceptions. And I'm going to need some plays in the clutch. That's what I need.
I don't think that's unreasonable. That would be
No,
a really good game.
I don't think it is either.
Obviously numbers are down the last couple of years. We've talked about this. Maybe they'll pop back up this year. So that would,
I went with that ball. I was going to, normally I'd say, well, okay, I need 303.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But today's 303 is 275 and 2. Give me that.
250, 2 touchdowns, no picks.
How about be 60% on third down
I like that.
and be great in the red zone?
Okay,
Yeah.
you know what? I really like that.
I care more about that than I care about
Yeah, that's a good
275
point.
and 2
That's
touchdowns.
fine.
That's
fine.
situational,
That's fair. Yeah.
and that's what clutch players do. They're 60%.
Yeah, I mean, especially in a game like this where it's a challenging game, it's the opener. Like, you don't have to put it all on your shoulders, Deshaun.
And you playing a good defense.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where Kevin Stefanski has time. They've had all offseason for this game. It should be a great game plan for the offense coming
you guys
in.
expect a low-scoring game? I do.
I don't know.
I don't know that 21.
It's the first game of the year, so you never know what to expect.
Right.
Nobody knows. I mean, it could be sloppy because the lack of preseason play, all these things.
Both of these offenses played as little as any offense in the league. Because I don't think C.D. Lamb – I know Dak didn't play. I don't think C.D. Lamb played.
He didn't play.
Zeke Elliott didn't play in the preseason.
No.
And he's, I guess, their starting running back. So
We have to write these down, and then Monday we'll revisit and see
I'm
what part of these goals he
I am
achieved.
expecting a low-scoring game because I'm expecting both teams' defenses to be ahead of the offense.
Okay.
But, of course, as Dustin said, he's right. Week one, weird things happen sometimes. You never know.
So what's your line for Watson on Monday morning?
So first and foremost, you get in the red zone, you got to get 7, not 3. I think he has to get rid of the football very quickly. I don't want to see too much improvisation because you got defensive ends coming off the edge. You got to keep your tackles in the game. But in terms of third down, I need you to keep us ahead of the chains. When it gets to third down, I want to be in third and medium, 3rd and 5, 36, 37. So no negative plays on first and second down. And then what I want to see too is I want to see how efficient you are in an intermediate passing game. You can get the little dink and dunk stuff, but there's going to be a couple of throws that they give you, and you're going to have them open. You got to hit the chunk plays. You got to give me those. If you want to say 275, I'm looking at somewhere between 265 and 285.
So we're in the same ballpark.
And 2 touchdowns. Hey, no turnovers, and that goes for losing the football on sacks as well. If you go back and look at the Pittsburgh game last year, they had that game in the bag at Pittsburgh. The Browns defense playing lights out. He fumbled the football. T.J. Watt got it, and that was game. So that's what I'm looking for.
I mean, he cost them that game.
Yeah.
The Steelers had 0 yards of offense in the second half.
Yeah.
Or was it the fourth quarter?
Fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Browns,
Which is
I
hard
think,
to
won
believe.
every statistical category.
Yeah, except for points.
If you just watched it with your eyes and you
Yeah.
didn't look at the numbers, the Browns should have won that football game.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. That's our expectations for week one. And the one thing that none of us mentioned, and I know it's a big opponent, but it's at home. Vegas says we should win. There's one stat that matters. We need the dub. Period. End of story. We want to be an elite team. The Cowboys are an elite team. They had a mirror season to us last year. Nice regular season, got thumped in the first round of the playoffs, and their party was over. So at the end of the day, I will give him some grace if he goes for 185, a touchdown and a pick, but makes plays in the clutch that leads the team to a victory.
Sure.
So you get the dub, and you get the check mark for me.
I feel like there's kind of an eye test element to it too, where
There
numbers
always
could
is.
lie. You could throw a screen pass and someone breaks it for 85 yards,
Sure.
and there's going to be 5-6 throws throughout the game. And G and Dustin, I'm sure you could attest to this. There are 5-6, maybe a few more, maybe a few less, give or take. A few plays throughout the game that kind of define the outcome.
Yeah.
And Deshaun has to be good in those specific plays more than anything else, whether the completion percentage isn't as high as we want, the yards aren't there, the touchdowns, the turnovers.
Yeah.
When push comes to shove and those 5, 6, 7, whatever the number is, when those plays that matter are in front of him, he has to be able to make those plays.
I agree. Be good in the clutch.
He has the biggest opportunity of his career coming up. This game, this is why I say you double down and you better go attack it. The conversation we have with Deshaun has been don't mess it up. I got the exact opposite. Mental state. You got to go attack it. Sometimes people can look at different points in time in your life when you get an opportunity to do something. You got to overkill it sometimes. And he's playing the Dallas Cowboys with Tom Brady at home, 425 game, the game of the week, everybody watching it. It's the America's team. Do you know what you could do for your career to come out there and put something on tape? If you want to,
He could change the narrative.
that would
in a hurry.
change 35% of the fan base's mindset.
You're right about that. And I was thinking about that earlier today. We've been in the doorway on Deshaun Watson for almost 3 years, 2+ years.
Yeah.
When I say in the doorway, we're either in or we're out. And I would say the vast majority of Browns fans are in the doorway.
I agree with
There
that.
are some that are in.
Yeah.
There are some that are out. But the vast majority of us stand right underneath that door.
Yeah. That's where I am.
If
Yeah.
he comes out week one and balls out, and the Browns win 35-7 and make this emphatic statement that, we've got a new horse to watch in the AFC, the narrative swings on Deshaun Watson. A lot of those people that are in the doorway are going to be coming to work Monday saying, I knew he was our guy. I knew it all along.
Right.
He was our guy.
That's right.
So, and here's the other thing I'm most looking forward to on Sunday, and I can't. Somebody asked me this earlier in the week, and I said, I can't believe that this is my answer, but it is. I am most looking forward to Tom Brady's commentary on Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Why?
It will be.
Yeah.
Who's the guru of quarterbacks in the history of the game?
That's right.
His name is Tom Brady.
Right.
I hope he's going to keep
be-
it real and not be
I do too.
politically correct.
I do too. We're going to find out a lot because
Yeah.
we don't know how
Right.
he's going to handle that. My hope is that we get unfiltered, real Tom Brady, where he calls it what he sees.
Yeah.
If he's going to be one of these guys that everybody's doing okay and, hey, you got to cut him some slack, I won't listen to him.
Yeah.
I need him to be, if he's honest and gives us his true thoughts on what he sees,
It'll be great.
He has the potential to be one of the greatest color people of all time.
No doubt. No
Because
doubt.
of his knowledge and his experience.
And you talk about, like, if he has a great game, Deshaun, that's going to change a lot of minds or take people like us who are on the fence right now
Put us in.
and push them forward. And that's because we've seen him be great in Houston. If he had no track record of greatness, I don't know that one game is going to change your mind that much.
Right. Well, the
But
half against Baltimore hasn't changed the minds of the people that are still in the doorway.
It hasn't changed it for me, and because
neither.
it's something that Mike said was the eye test. Like whenever I obviously didn't watch Deshaun Watson play every game in Houston, but almost every time I saw him play for Houston, he wowed you.
Yeah, you're right.
You watched him and you're like, this guy is special.
Yeah.
Like he passed the eye test every time I saw him play.
Yeah.
And for me, he hasn't passed it once watching the Browns. Now, people
Well,
may
the
disagree.
second half against Baltimore, he passed it.
Even then,
For
all
me,
the
it
passes
didn't.
were short, and I'm not trying to be overly critical, even though people are gonna be like, "He's a hater."
Yeah.
I'm not a hater. I want to see a guy, like you said, pass
Yeah.
the eye
Well,
test.
you know
the
what?
eye test to me, go ahead.
But maybe it was because of the first half that he played. That was the worst half he's played as a Brown.
Yeah.
And then he had, in 15 minutes, with an injury, he came out of the locker room and put together, unquestionably, his best half against the Browns. And we talk about big plays, clutch moments, and I know that there were some made by the defense, but at the end of the day, they walked out of the stadium with a victory. Winning at Baltimore is almost, it's like a unicorn for the Browns.
Yeah.
And he was able to turn around his absolute worst half of football. And I mean, whether you were impressed by it or not, you have to admit it was his best half.
I'm not saying it wasn't an impressive
Brown,
No,
half, and they got the
You're not
dub.
willing to say it was Houston level, Deshaun.
Yeah, right.
I guess there's just something that's missing with him where I don't feel confident that, hey, we can win a tight ball game in the playoffs or even a really tough regular season opponent.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something off there where I just think he's sort of got his toes in the water with leadership and confidence. And I really just want to see him go out there, especially this week in particular, and just command. When a quarterback has command, Tom Brady is the all-time the best at it.
Yeah.
But it's not just guys like Tom Brady. There's guys all across the league currently that you're like, that guy's got it. I mean, it may be Josh Allen. It might be a Lamar Jackson. It doesn't matter who it is. Joe Burrow even to some degree.
Right.
You look at those guys, you're like, yep, that guy freaking gets it.
Yeah, it's the it factor. You know it when you see it.
You know it.
And we saw it in Houston. We haven't seen it here.
That's fair.
And if we see it in the first week, you're going to be like, he's back.
We're all in.
He's back.
That
and
doorway will be empty.
That's right.
And we'll all be inside.
You talk about the it factor. Someone who definitely has the it factor is our next guest. We're going to